Hey everyone, today on People Now.
Hang on, did you just take a piss?
When you gotta go, you gotta go. Sia's interview on Zoom gets extremely personal.
Ryan Reynolds hilariously responds to news of his $610 million Aviation Gin deal. We'll tell you what he said.
President Trump responds to Michelle Obama's DNC speech.
Also today,
we are not victims in our own story.
Kat Graham and her co-stars open up about the important message in their new movie, Emperor.
We wanted to really control that narrative.
Tank and Xena Foster Babs are giving fans a sneak peek into their wild, fun-loving family with their brand new show. They're telling us what to expect.
It's all today on People Now. Let's go.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to People Now. Happy Tuesday. I'm Jeremy Parsons here in New York. Andrea Boehlke, I hear there's a new member of the family.
I bought a sheep, Jeremy. I bought a sheep as a pet. Okay, so I don't get the sheep for a couple weeks, but I do have pictures of the sheep as a baby. Very precious. I found out that the sheep was going to be killed for meat, and it's a family friend. So I was like, I'll buy it. We have a farm here, so I can't wait. She's going to be coming in a few weeks.
That's so incredible. Saving sheep. And if you can make me a winter cap out of maybe your mom, I know it's going to stay at the family farm, right? So maybe she can make it out of the thing.
Okay, yeah. Put us to work already. Got it.
That's so, congratulations. That's really great. And it's awesome that you saved. You know a name yet, or are you gonna?
I don't know yet. I'll have to maybe do a poll or something. Yeah. I have not named the sheep yet.
Okay, we'll be keeping very close tabs on that story as it develops. And there's much more to get to today. Here's what you need to know and what's trending. Yeah, this story might be some people's worst nightmare in the Zoom era, but hey, when you gotta go, you gotta go, it turns out. Sia shocked some radio hosts in Australia this week when she was caught using the bathroom on air during a live interview.
Thankfully, she did have her video off, but one of the hosts heard a flush in the background and asked Sia about it, and the Australian musician didn't waste any time admitting that yes, she did use the toilet while she was talking to them.
The moment was shared on Instagram by the Ash, Kip, Lutzi, and Susie show, which airs on the Brisbane radio station Nova 106.9. Now in the caption, the show calls the moment unforgettable. Take a listen.
Yeah, I know.
I watch Love on the Spectrum, Normal People.
Yes,
you know,
I love it.
It's just my favorite TV shows.
Hang on, did you just take a piss?
Yeah, you heard me, and I blushed too, and I'm no shame.
She's hilarious. The way she just nonchalantly says, I have no shame. It's amazing. As you can see there, this really made the host burst out laughing. And later on in the interview, she was asked to clarify if she really did go to the bathroom during their conversation. Sia confirmed that she did, explaining it by jokingly saying, guess what? Stars are just like us. It's true.
It's true. So wait, have you had any crazy Zooms? I was trying to think if we have. I don't think the two of us have because we don't embarrass easily. But there was a couple weeks ago, I was doing an interview with the cast of a show. It was two of us, and the actress, her phone fell, and she had a skirt on, and it fell right on the floor between her feet. And no one saw anything, but it was so close, and she was really funny, and so was her co-star, so we all laughed it off. But it was one of those like near misses.
I had a really bad Zoom call. I did a video with a doctor who was making a face mask, not like the kind for Corona, but the kind to put on your skin. So avocado, yogurt, we had all of it on our faces, and I realized that I never hit record. So I had to redo the entire interview again.
Oh no!
I never hit record. We had stuff on our faces when I looked up into the corner and realized that I wasn't recording, so that was terrible.
It's crazy, and I'm sure there'll be more stories like that to come in the next few weeks. All right, guys, let's move on to this.
Ryan Reynolds had a very cheeky response to the recent sale of his alcohol brand, Aviation Gin. And this sale was a big one. The brand just sold for an estimated $610 million. But apparently, there's a catch.
Yeah, Ryan set up a hilarious out-of-office message in which he apologizes to a long list of people, including his wife, Blake Lively. That message reads in part, quote, thanks for your email. I'm currently out of the office, but will still be very hard at work selling Aviation Gin for quite a long time, it seems. The message goes on to say, in related news, I just learned what an earnout is, and I'd like to take this opportunity to apologize to everyone I told to go bleep themselves in the last 24 hours. My lawyers just explained how long it takes to achieve an earnout.
For reference, an earnout is a business agreement where you don't get the full payout of the sale in one lump sum. Instead, future payments depend on the future performance of the business that was sold. So Ryan isn't getting off scot-free here. Aviation Gin still has to do well in order for him to get all of that cash.
In his out of office, Ryan went on saying, so turns out I'm not as George Clooney as I thought. And that's a reference to the $1 billion deal that Clooney and Randy Gerber's tequila brand Casamigos made with the same buyer in 2017.
On Monday, the company Diageo announced that it had reached an agreement to acquire Aviation Gin. According to a press release, the estimated $610 million deal includes an initial payment of $335 million and then a further potential consideration of up to $275 million based on the performance of the company over a 10-year period.
All right, President Donald Trump is responding to Michelle Obama's now viral Democratic National Convention speech from Monday night. Trump tweeted early Tuesday morning in part, quote, "Somebody please explain to Michelle Obama that Donald J. Trump would not be here if it weren't for the job done by your husband, Barack Obama."
The former First Lady delivered some passionate criticism of Trump's time in office during her remote speech for the virtual DNC and called on voters to join her in supporting Joe Biden, who will accept the Democratic Party's presidential nomination on Thursday. Let's take a look.
Donald Trump is the wrong president for our country. He has had more than enough time to prove that he can do the job, but he is clearly in over his head. He cannot meet this moment. He simply cannot be who we need him to be for us. It is what it is.
Michelle Obama's speech wasn't the only thing that made headlines Monday night. If you look closely, she was wearing a gold necklace that reads, "Vote."
And viewers quickly reacted to the necklace on Twitter, wondering where they can get their own. It turns out the now iconic necklace was created by designer Sherry Cuthbert.
Cuthbert told ET that she created a vote necklace for the last election and knew that she was going to do it again. She added, quote, "I was honored when Michelle Obama's stylist asked for one, and I'm thrilled she's wearing it."
Love that Michelle has really been encouraging people to get out and vote. And speaking of voting, today marks the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment being ratified by the United States Congress. The amendment, which granted American women the right to vote, was ratified on August 18, 1920, then became certified as a law a little over 1 week later on August 26th. That day is commemorated each year with Women's Equality Day.
But it's important to recognize that while the 19th Amendment was a major step towards voting equality in this country, many women still face major obstacles when trying to vote for decades afterward. African American, Asian American, Hispanic American, and Native American women waited nearly half a century for more protection for their right to vote, and they got it when the Voting Rights Act was passed in August of 1965. Now, that piece of legislation prohibits racial discrimination when it comes to voting. Very important steps that were taken. It's a complicated issue in some ways, but we can definitely all agree that voting is so important, whether it's an absentee ballot, a mail-in ballot, voting in person at a polling station. It's definitely important for everyone to have their voice be heard.
So many people fought for that right, and so many people in American history didn't have the ability to vote, so do it for them. Obviously, the pandemic makes things a little more difficult and more complicated, but you do have options here. You can visit usa.gov/voting to learn how to register to vote, locate your polling place, request an absentee ballot, and much more. So make sure you check it out.
All right, stay with us. Kat Graham, Naturi Nadin, and Dio O'Kinney are teasing up their new drama, Emperor, which is inspired by the true story of a man named Shields Green. The cast is sharing why the film's so relevant to today's political climate and why Green is an unsung hero. Stay tuned for that. All right, guys, R&B superstar Tank and his wife Xena Foster Babs first met on the set of a music video. Now they've got their own reality series, Babs to the Bone. The name's right, the timing's right. They're doing it alongside their 12-year-old daughter Zoe and 5-year-old son Zion. They're here now. Thank you guys for being here. I was just telling you right before this, I had your, I went on YouTube and I just watched your little wedding video. It was just like out there for the world. It's like, how often do you watch somebody else's wedding video and you get into it? That says a lot.
Did you feel like you were there?
I feel like I was there. Thank you for inviting me. You had a beautiful day. Tell us a little bit about this series. What makes it different from other reality shows, and why are you pumped about it?
Well, it's different because it's us.
It's you guys, yeah.
You know, I mean, there's only one Tank and Xena. I mean, although we've been compared to, who's it, Ghost and...
Oh, God. Ghost and Angela.
Ghost and Angela.
Oh, nice, okay.
But, you know, we've...
In demand.
There it is. We're hot. We're hot on the presses. You know, a lot of people have asked us to do, you know, do these kinds of reality shows and be part of their production and those kinds of things. And I think we've been very hesitant because we just want to be very careful about the message and the image that we put out there, and we just want to be able to be honest. You know what I mean? Without anything, any additives or preservatives. You know what I mean? We just want to be us, and we're just a fun, loving. I mean, not to be cliche, but you know what I'm saying? And for us, drama, there is organic drama. I mean, that's any relationship, but it's not something that we like to harp on. Like we like to put the idea out there that problem solving is a real thing. Okay, so here's the issue. Let's deal with it. Cool, tackle it, move past it. Let's get back to having fun. Let's get back to being in love. Like, that's our thing. And so we wanted to really control that narrative and make sure that we put that positive and constructive energy out into the atmosphere. And so
that makes a lot of sense. You know, someone told me a long time ago, it's okay for your kids to see you fight, but they also need to see you make up and see you work it out and figure out how to do that. And it's nice that there's now, you know, if this goes as planned, we got a show now that people can look at, other families can look at, like, okay, they hit bumps just like we do, and then they move forward. Talk to me about self-isolating and how maybe that's fueled some of the energy for this and maybe giving you a lot of content, I would imagine.
Well, self-isolating.
First of all, Tank has never been home this much in his entire life.
Okay.
Career. So for me, I'm actually glad that we have to stay home. But it has brought like a huge closeness with, you know, amongst our family and with the kids, and just trying to get creative and stay active and finding things to do. Filming during quarantine is not the easiest because you kind of got to figure out content. Like, okay, well, what can we shoot? Where can we go? We can't go nowhere, so we got to find.
Like, do this room. We haven't shot in this corner yet. That kind of stuff.
You gotta get creative with the content, but it is fun, you know, trying to get creative. And with the kids, you know, well, they'll be on like half of the episodes, and the other half will just be us, because obviously it's not the easiest to record with children, but you know, we make it happen.
Talk about the kids though and how they've adapted to all this. You got a 12-year-old and a 5-year-old, right? So different spectrums, I would imagine. Who's better? Who's like more the ham on camera?
Oh, of course, Zion. Zion sees the camera and he wants to turn up the second that he sees it. He doesn't want to talk. He doesn't want to do anything else. All he wants to do is show you his moves. So he's a little dancing machine right now. He's moonwalking everywhere.
Oh, that's cute.
Even when it's just our shots, he'll be like, "Mommy, but I want to be in the picture too." And I was like, "Zion, just take your turn." Zoe, she was excited about it, but then when she watches herself on the replay, she gets a little weirded out. So she's at, you know, she's 12, she's in middle school, she's at that stage right now where she's like, okay, it can be cool, but wait a minute, I don't want to see myself play back, or you know.
Gotta just make sure she's cool.
She's got to be cool.
When it plays back and her friends see it,
right?
She's got to be in a cool state.
She's like, you know what? We gotta run that one more time. I'm gonna go back out here and walk in again. You guys get that again. And you know what? I respect that. What have you learned about each other that maybe you didn't know before as you've spent so much, you know, extended time together?
Well, I think I've learned that she really needs me here. You know what I mean?
I've learned that too.
She's a tough one, you know what I mean, when it comes to managing the house and managing me on a certain level. But, you know, me being here and being able to take some of the weight off of her shoulders, in terms of the household and in terms of the kids, and even helping her with her beauty business, packing orders and taking them to the mailbox.
He does my post office drops for me.
Oh, really?
He didn't know he signed up to be my assistant.
Nice.
And it's, you know, with me being gone all the time, you know, I have my own responsibilities out there, but in here, this household is a tough job, and so, you know, I found out that, you know, she needs me. You know what I mean? And I found a way to be part, you know what I'm saying? And not just be here at the house, but to also be part in helping my wife make sure all of this stuff comes the right way.
And Xena, for you, other than getting your own delivery man, what have you learned about him?
I've learned about him that sometimes he needs his moments. When he needs to sleep, he needs to sleep. Because I know when he's on the road and he's doing the hotel life, he doesn't have to worry about kids, you know, waking him up in the middle of the night. We got 2 cats. One of them is just loud as hell right now.
we got 2 cats too. I know exactly what you mean. Clawing at the door, everything.
Oh my God, like literally knocking at the door. So yeah, he needs his moment, you know, from time to time. And
I wondered, with the music scene and getting creative and all that kind of stuff, is new music gonna spawn out of doing this show or out of this quarantine time? Is that kind of a place that you're able to go creatively?
Well, I mean, I've dropped 2 EPs during quarantine. One called While You Wait and the second called Worth the Wait, which have done really well. And I mean, it was just music, relief music in a sense. You know what I mean? Something.
Did you write those during quarantine?
Yes.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
right. Okay.
Studio every day.
Yeah, in my studio.
On
You know,
the
just
keys.
writing, producing, and mixing and putting it out. You know what I mean? And giving the people something to digest, something to take their minds off of the worst of whatever it is. You know, giving them some good energy, some good melody. Because you know, entertainment is that. You know, sometimes it just takes you away from the everyday stresses of life. And right now is a very, very stressful time. So I wanted to offer that. And then, you know, I'm working on a new album now, which will probably drop in the fall. You know, in terms of the show always inspires something. So we recorded our theme song. So
Oh, nice.
You'll see that on the new episode.
That was my first time ever recording.
Oh, yeah.
And she wanted auto-tune. I was like, no, just do
She's like, nobody's gonna care, just fix it. Yeah, that's funny. How do you guys try to promote love and positivity day to day? I know that's something you've expressed that you want to do with the show, and that it seems like that's who you are as people, but do you have kind of methods or tips and tricks on getting there on days when, man, it's just not feeling that good?
You gotta communicate.
Yeah.
That's the key. That's the key to us lasting as long as we have, knowing each other as long as we have. I always say communication is key, and that's why we're here where we are today.
And another thing, to her credit, she's not comfortable being uncomfortable. If you understand what I'm saying. Like if there's a bad energy or a bad tone within the conversation, like she immediately wants to clear it up. You know what I mean? Wants to get to it. It like, we need to talk about this.
Now.
You know,
There's no like hiding it and letting it fester.
Yeah.
It's like, nope, deal with it.
Her face is, so you ain't gonna talk to me now? Like she's very there. So you gotta have the person, you can't be comfortable with being uncomfortable. You gotta get in there and really dig out the root of the problem, and so that you can get back to having fun, and back to the love part.
That's good. Good message. I love this interview. Thank you guys for that. You're very encouraging. You are, just in this little quick time. Taking Xena, it's so good to talk to you.
Thank you,
appreciate
you
it.
too.
And guys watching, thank you so much as well. Everybody home, you can check out Babs to the Bone. It's streaming now on YouTube.
They say he's African royalty. They call him Emperor.
If you can't take the heat, don't light the fuse.
You know why they call me Emperor? Because my granddaddy was a king.
Emperor is based on the life story of Shields Green. Andrea caught up with the cast of the film, including Kat Graham, Naturi Naughton, and Dio Okanii, who shared what they knew about Green's story before taking on the project and what it means to be a part of a film like this during the current political climate. Watch.
You actually filmed this back in 2018, and I just learned that Kat and Naturi, you didn't meet until right now, right?
No,
Yes.
I'm still in
Oh, true. I just thought about that.
Isn't that crazy? You know, the thing about doing a movie this large and with so many amazing special characters coming in, we didn't get to see each other because there's different chapters to this story, you know, and I'm reaching through this camera and saying, hi, Kat, I'm hugging you through the phone.
right back. You were amazing in this film. Like, so
Thank
great.
you.
You added so many
So are you.
to this.
Thank
so
you.
I'm really proud to be in any film. So that's really cool.
Aw.
I'm glad
I'm
that this
blushing.
could be the first meeting. I think it's very sweet. Dio, had you worked with either Kat or Naturi before this film?
No, we had not. This was our first time with Kat and with Naturi, and it was a pleasure working with both of you ladies, I must say.
Thank you.
Tremendous honor. Yeah.
Aw.
I love it.
I was
Love
excited
all
when
around.
Dio and I first met. We had like dinner and drinks, I think, with the director at the hotel, and
That's
I was
right.
like, I'm gonna enjoy this guy. We wind up going to Nigeria. Literally, he
That's
invited me to
true.
Nigeria,
Later
and
that
I
year.
came. Yeah, later
Yeah.
that year, I came to his home. It was awesome. Like, I feel like I met someone that I can connect with for life, not just one movie.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Let's get right into the film. So it's based on the life story of Shields Green. Dio, since you played the protagonist, for people that are unfamiliar, tell us who he was and what did he do?
Well, Shields Green is, one of the unsung heroes of, the Civil War, basically the liberation of Black people in America. He was, an everyday man, really, in South Carolina, just working, toiling on a plantation, and he made this harrowing journey from there all the way to the north. And he eventually runs into John Brown and his posse, who were, very radical abolitionists, and he joins their cause, which was to liberate all the slaves. They were going to take over Harper's Ferry, which is an armory, and they were going to equip all the slaves and start this revolution. And so he's one of the people that they say, he did the dress rehearsal for the Civil War, so to speak. So he's a very amazing character. I didn't know much about him, to be honest, before getting a chance to play him. So it was a lot of quick history very quickly before I got on set to play this character.
Yeah, for Kat and Ettore, did either of you, were you familiar with the story, or what kind of research did you do?
I wasn't familiar with his story. In fact, I think it was Mark Amin, the director, who actually really broke it down for me and said, no, this actually really happened, and I want to tell this story with integrity. And then after speaking to Reggie Hudlin, who's this incredible director and one of the producers of this, trusting him and all the work that he did with Django Unchained and making sure that, we are not victims in our own story, but that there's a way that this story can be told to really show that there is the fight and the rebellion, and that, we wanted, he wanted Shields Green to be the hero, right, and not the victim. So I hadn't been aware of Shields Green and his story and helping spark the Civil War at all. So I was really blown away now. And then I was like, I have to do this,
The whole story was new to me, but it was also exciting to tell it at this time, because I think more and more Americans are thirsty for knowledge and history, particularly Black history that connects to American history, which essentially is synonymous, because there's so many unsung heroes. And it's time that I think the country is having a sense of awakening. And I think this is a good time for movies like this to not only make, it's a slave movie about a victim being beaten down. No, it's a story about empowerment. And Emperor is to show other young people that there is history that's strong.
To be very honest, I had no desire to play a slave role. I kind of had this feeling in my mind that, there are actors that have done this for us. We've been depicted like this on screen. And I think it's time for us to tell newer, different stories. But what I loved about this story the most was, one, it was not what we like to call torture porn, which sometimes is what you get from past movies that have dealt with slavery. It's just about, look at how we were oppressed, look how we were beaten, and it's just like 2 hours of that. And there's in some of these stories, there's no sense of agency. There's no sense of owning your own destiny and doing something about your circumstances. That's what I liked the most about Shield's story, was that he wasn't going to be a victim. Like, he was going to do something about his circumstances.
All right, coming up tomorrow, we're catching up with some of the star-studded cast of the new comedy, The Sleepover.
Plus, we'll have all the top stories and exclusive celeb interviews from this week's issue of People. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Bye, everybody.